This video is sponsored by Red Bull. Just kidding, there are no sponsors. What is up, guys? It's your boy Jake, and today I'm bringing you a review on the Luxe Ice. Sorry if I say Luxe X during this review. This is the Luxe Ice. I might just accidentally say Luxe X a few times. But this is the Luxe Ice. Here the gun is right here. Let me just set this off to the side. Inside the box, I always go over the packaging. It's a thick packaging. It's a kind of a little bit thicker of a box than what some people like. So it's like almost double the size. This is a Vanquish GT in here. It's almost double the size of what the Vanquish packaging is. Inside you get O-ring kit, extra freak barrel kit, or insert, I should say, not barrel kit. You get like this little sleeve that separates and holds everything together. You get like a charger because you got to charge the board. And then like you have like this little pocket thing that you open up. This is where the marker sits. This is where your grease is at. Cool. Now that you know what comes inside the box, let's talk about the marker itself. This is what it looks like. Here's the barrel. Planet Eclipse, Dye, Empire, pretty much every gun manufacturer out there on the market uses something called autococker barrel threads, and they don't. So it's kind of annoying because I've got a bunch of other markers that use these autococker barrel threads, and I have, you know, extra autococker barrels, but I can't use them on the Luxe. But nonetheless, it is a nice freak. It's a nice freak barrel kit, a freak barrel, I should say. If you have other inserts, you can turn it into a kit. But I mean, overall, it's not a bad barrel. I use this. I don't really, you know, have any issues with the stock barrel. It shoots just fine. Shoots perfectly quiet. Shoots plenty accurate. So you won't really have to change it out. But it's just the fact that, you know, if you have a favorite barrel, because I have a favorite barrel system, I like to use the boomsticks on everything. I also like to use the Stella barrel kits, and it's just kind of annoying, especially if you spent, you know, $200–300 on a barrel kit, and you have all these crazy inserts, and you have all these barrel fronts, barrel backs, all this stuff, and then you buy this and you can't use it. You have to buy like a little adapter, and then it's just, it gets too complicated. But nonetheless, you can swap that out with like a little adapter, but again, it's kind of annoying. So you get a great barrel. You have a clamping feed neck. It's a nice low profile feed neck. This is one of the lowest profiles that I've seen out there, especially on the nice Luxes. It sits your hopper down really far down into almost where the bolt is at, and that's really nice because you get a sleeker profile when you're sitting here and, you know, you're holding the gun. This is a really low profile gun. It doesn't sit up too high. It's not extra big. It's not extra wide. There's no extra flares or anything. It just sits nice and comfortably in your hand, which is really nice. It's nice in low profile, so when you're out there and you're snap shooting, doing all this fun stuff, you don't have to worry about having a hopper sit 10 feet up, or you don't have to worry about your tank sitting down. It's really, really nice and balanced. The eyes come off super fast, super easy. I'm going to go over some of that here in the maintenance portion. So if you guys want to know how easy it is to maintain this, what the bolt looks like, I'm going to pull out the bolt, but I'm going to go over that in the maintenance part. So one of the things is that I said about the Luxe is, back in the day, is if you guys have watched the YouTube channel, I've shot plenty of Luxes, I broke plenty of Luxes, and that's why I've never owned a Luxe other than the Luxe Ice. And the reason why is because they were just never really consistent enough, and they were never really, I'm not talking consistent over the chronograph, but like consistent in terms of I always would have issues with one, or I would see someone having an issue with one. Almost every time I went someplace, it was always like, hey, my Luxe is doing this, so I'm having first shot drop off, I'm doing this, that, and the other thing. It was always something, and it always just kind of put me off, and I've seen it with so many other markers. Or I've seen so little problems with so many other markers. It just kind of put me off from just owning it. But with this barrel, not the barrel system, but with the bolt system that they changed to on the Luxe Ice, it made it a lot more consistent and not breaking. It made it a lot better in colder weather, which is one of the biggest things with Luxes. It hit 50 degrees. Anything under that, you might as well not even shoot. It's worthless. You might as well not even shoot it. It's, you know, kind of dumb, and that's me living in Michigan with colder weather. I just never owned a Luxe. I just never wanted one. Yeah, they shot smooth, but it's just kind of like, whatever, and they weren't really efficient. Now with this newer bolt system, it's more efficient. You're not going to have to worry about maintaining it as much, and it's not going to break down as often on you. So big plus to DLX for changing that. The trigger, I don't know why a lot of people really don't like the triggers on some of the Luxes. I see a lot of aftermarket triggers for them. I feel like the Luxe Ice trigger is perfectly fine. I mean, I guess the trigger's a lot more personal preference. If you really want to, you can change it out. I haven't really had an issue. I don't play on semi with the Luxe, so if you're really playing on semi, yeah, I guess I could see how you wouldn't like it. To me, it's not so bad. I rock it out. I don't really mind, but I've only played ramping with this. I've only played, you know, NXL with this. I haven't actually played like Woods Ball uncapped semi with this particular trigger. So I mean, if you really want to, you really can get rid of it. But I don't really see the issue, especially if you're 99% of the paintball players out there don't play on semi-automatic anymore. But if you are, you can definitely, there are aftermarket triggers out there. I don't see the issue with it though. One of the other cool things about how this gun, it's just very well designed and how it fits in your hand. So the one thing about this is that you can, I'm going to try to explain this the easiest way I possibly can. See how this is angled like a normal regulator, like this front part that you hang on to, a lot of times is just flat up and down. They curved it a little bit, or a little bit out. And they did that for a reason. The biggest part is because the biggest, most fattest part of your hand is probably going to be down here at the bottom, depending upon how you're going to hold your marker. So you have plenty of room to get your hand in here. You have plenty of room to get your thumb in here, and it's not overly big. It's not like super big in your hand where you feel like you're holding on to like a 10-foot pole, but it's not overly small where you don't feel like you can't get your hand in there. The other thing is that the regulator, this front grip size, it's not too short either. So if you have bigger hands, I haven't really heard of many people complaining that their pinky hangs off the very edge of this part. So if you are a bigger guy, you shouldn't really have to worry about that. And this goes up really far. And the one thing that I like about the Luxes is how many different ways that you can hold this thing and it's still comfortable. People have seen me where I hold it with my thumb like back here and doing all this crazy stuff. I've held this gun every different way possible, and it feels so well balanced no matter how I hold it. I just feel like I have such good control over it. And it's just perfectly, it's just perfectly designed to fit in your hand, which I really like. I personally think they're ugly. They have like the same design as pretty much they've always had, but overall I feel like it fits just great in the hand. Has a nice on-off ASA. Doesn't take much. I mean, it's an on-off ASA. You put your tank in here. Air's up. Cool. On-off ASA, not much else to say. One of the coolest things though that I enjoy about Luxes versus any gun pretty much is that this is the only board that talks to you. So when you turn it on, you can program this to say whatever you want. I tried to figure out how to do it. I've got a ton of software on my computer. Let me just shut that up. I have a bunch of software on my computer that I've downloaded, and I still can't figure it out. I've tried to follow some YouTube videos, and there's really not much out there, but I've tried to follow a few, and it's just not that convenient, I guess you can say. It's not that easy to necessarily program it from what I've seen, and I'm kind of a techie guy, so I guess I wish you could program voices on it a little bit easier. It's like software from like 2001. That's what it looks like when you're actually on the computer. You have to have like 3 different systems running, and it's just kind of annoying, and it's not really my cup of tea. But if you know how to do it, it's really cool. You can program this to say things. I was going to program porn noises into it when Jacob was going to play with this the other day, because Jacob was playing with this, so when he was going to like turn on the gun at indoor, it was just going to start like blaring porn, so like everyone at the start box would be like, the fuck is this kid's problem? I thought that would have been really funny, but didn't really happen. So board talks to you. It is an OLED display, which is super nice. When I bring in the camera, I'll show you. No, you do have to charge this gun. That's the thing. So they do give you a charger in the box, but the charger that they give you doesn't really charge not nearly as well as the one they used to make. I still believe they make it, but especially with like the 2.0s and like down, they had like a block that was designed, it was like a block with the cord attached to it. That's the one that I use, and I plug it into the wall, and it charges way faster, way better, way more consistent. When I plug it into the computer and I plug it into like, you know, like any other like cell phone block, like cell phone charger block, because it's just like a cord, like a cell phone charger, and you can plug it into a brick and put it into the wall. It didn't really charge all that fast or all that great, so I used the original one that they used to put in all the boxes, and I haven't had any issues with it. So that might be something to think about, especially if you have Luxes from the past. Keep that charger, because it definitely does a lot better than what they give you in the box. So overall, I really like the feel of the gun. I think it shoots really nice. It has a really, really nice soft shot. I can't really complain about the shot at all. So before I go any further into like the conclusion and the details of what I think, let's bring the camera in. I'm going to break it down a little bit more up close and personal on camera for you, so you have a better idea of what you're looking at, and then we'll do the conclusion. Alright, so I'm going to take the Luxe a little bit more apart, a little bit more in depth than what I normally do. Have the grease right here. So to get these eye covers off, you can see there's like a little button. It's black on black, so you might not actually be able to see it, but there's like a little tab right here, and then you just pull that tab up, and that's how you get the eye and detent covers off right there. That's how easy it is. So I had a little bit of paint underneath here, so I'm just going to clean this up. So if you're breaking paint or you're having issues out there on the field or whatever, it's very, very easy to just disassemble your eyes and disassemble everything. I mean, your detents, everything that you need to be able to get into and access, it's very, very easy to get in here. Nothing too crazy. You just pull that little tab back, and then these sit back down. If you guys remember the original Luxe eyes, the original Luxe eye covers, they used to pop off all the time, and you know, that was a long time ago. That doesn't happen anymore. But that's how easy it is to take apart your eyes. I'm going to take off the barrel. Now, one of the things is that I wish they would do a little bit more is, let me show you, like, so the DSR, for instance, look at how, like, this is all rubberized, this whole grip right here. So this is what's all aluminum. So this is all rubberized, and what's nice is, so when you're rubbing up against the bunkers, is like, you know, they make rubberized grips for this portion, but I wish they had like rubberized grips that go up higher. So when you rub up against the bunker and everything like this, I'm jacking it off right now, but it feels like it's like a very lubricated penis. Just because of how much oil and paint is on this, I almost feel like I can never get all the oil and paint off of it. So I mean, that's something that I don't like. Also with these grips is like, these just, I don't know, they don't really soak in the oil too much. I don't know how to like really explain it. So like the DSR grips, like, I don't feel like an oily residue film on this. This I do. I definitely feel like an oily, filmy residue on this. So when you get shot in the hand, you get shot in the gun or whatever, you definitely, it feels like grimy and oily and slick and slippery and all that fun stuff. So I wish they would change out the grips a little bit different, I guess you could say. The other cool thing is that I really like is, so on the regulators on the inside, you need a fucking giant ass Allen key, and it's like that in a lot of markers, a lot of markers, where I'm not going to take apart the regulator because I don't need to, but Luxe, I don't want to ruin my anodizing, Luxe gives you the big fuck off Allen wrench that you need for that. No other gun manufacturer that I know of. I had to find one of these from DJ. I found one of his and I stole it from him because he had like 2 or 3 and I never had one, and I needed it for like 4 or 5 of my markers. So shout out to you, DLX, for putting in the big ass Allen key that no one ever puts in. Plain Eclipse doesn't do it, Dye doesn't do it, no one does it. You have to go to like Ace Hardware. Back in the day, you had to go to like Ace or Home Depot or whatever to go buy that fucking huge ass Allen key, and a lot of times it came in like an Allen key set, so you had to spend $20 on like 50,000 Allen keys that you already had. So it was just kind of annoying. So shout out to you giving the small details on that Allen key set. So I'm going to remove the grips here just for a second, just to show you. So on the inside, the one thing that I don't really like about this marker is how to enter into the programming mode. So I'm going to turn this bad boy on here for you. It says how cool it is. I'm going to turn it on. You can see, hold down the button. She's going to speak. Open this bad boy up. Now this is one of the biggest gripes that I have. Got her at 100%. The grips are also a little bit thinner than what I like. I don't mind a little bit thinner of a body and a little bit thicker of a grip, and that's because my back grip already kind of has like a little tear in it, because, you know, the thinner the grips, the less material, the easier it is going to rip. So how you charge it is right here. It's not just a typical like Android or iPhone charger. You get it in the box. If you lose it, you're fucked. That's one thing that I don't like. I wish DLX would go to wireless charging like Dye would, because, I mean, your phone wirelessly charges. I mean, most likely your phone is going to wirelessly charge. Depending upon what year you're watching this, your phone will probably most definitely be wireless charging. And the Dye boards work on a phone wireless charger. The ones that they give you are just smaller though. So if you really are like in a bind, you can just fucking put your gun on your wireless charger. This is a different situation.
Programming.
So that's how you get into programming. Main menu. And then it goes through the modes and it tells you, and then you can like flip through everything.
Voice select, speaker volume.
And you can, you know,
software version.
Go through, and you can obviously listen to everything. So I'm just gonna turn this portion off.
Powering off.
I at least wish. I don't know if it's out there. I haven't actually done a ton of research on it, but I wish like there was an easy way. So say they don't do like wireless charging or whatever. I wish there was an easy way. So like say you're at like a 3 to 4 day tournament, and like say you're playing an NXL event or a PSP event or whatever, you know, you're playing at the time, and you forget your charger, your battery dies. You know, that sucks, but if you had an extra battery where it's easy, just like a quick disconnect to just pop out like 2 rechargeable batteries or whatever, that would make life a lot easier. Or if you could put a recharge, like the Luxe battery in there, and then like a 9-volt too. Like I wish they had like a 9-volt hookup, just because the charger's weird. Dye does like, you know, a simple Android charger. You can buy those at the gas station. There's not a single gas station that you're going to be able to find a Luxe charger at. When like the Dye chargers and all that, you can find that pretty much anywhere. You can probably go to an event. You can find it in your car's center console. You know what I mean? This, you're not really going to be able to find that. So that's like one of my gripes about like the whole charging and battery system and like the whole programming mode and everything. The speaker's plenty loud though. Now let's get to the bread and butter. So that's like, those are like my biggest complaints about the Luxe, that it's not, the Luxe is not perfect. So this is not like the most perfect gun out there on the market. And those are the few things that I would change on the Luxe Ice. I don't know if they changed on the X. I honestly did not see. Oh yeah, so if you want to make things easier, sliding this in and out. Now as you can see, I haven't actually like really maintenance this a whole lot, and that's because I don't really need to, and I've been kind of wanting to put this thing through the ringer and give it the best test possible. So I'm just trying to like clear off a lot of the lube and everything, because it makes my hands like super slick and kind of hard to work with when I do a bunch of markers at once. So I'm just cleaning this off. Push this through. So this is about as far as you're going to need to go. The spring is actually on the inside in here. So I'll bring it up so you can see it. The spring is actually, let me refocus here. The spring is actually on the inside in here. So you don't have to worry about the spring popping out and getting in the dirt and all that good stuff, which is a super cool design, because if you guys remember like the older Luxes, or even like the Vanquish design. So like here's the Vanquish bolt, which is very similar to the last Luxe bolt. The spring just kind of sits on there, and if you just accidentally tap it, boom, now it's in the dirt, it's in the grass, someone just stepped on it, now you have no idea where the fuck your spring just went. And yeah, good luck finding it, good luck trying to make it work. So that was like one of the things that I was not a fan of on some of the older Luxe bolts, but now you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about taking it apart and the whole fucking bolt just like dissipating in your hands, which is nice. So let's clean this bad boy off. There's only 3 parts technically that you really actually have to work with. So, you know, it's not like there's all these different cans and everything, so they made the bolt a lot more simple. So you just wipe everything off. And this is just a really nice design of the gun, of the bolt and the gun, honestly. It just works really well hand in hand. There's really not like a ton of extra like internal O-rings, and I mean there's some, but those O-rings are probably, you're never going to have to ever really replace those. If you're leaking down the barrel, you're most likely only gonna have to like replace this O-ring right here. You're really not gonna have like, you know, leaking issues in general. I mean, there is some O-rings that can go wrong, but they're a lot more bulletproof than what the marker designs used to be back in the day. Like 7-8 years ago, there used to be like 5,000 internal O-rings, and if you're leaking down the barrel, a lot of times you would have to like start replacing a ton of different O-rings just to figure out which one it was. That was one of the things with like the dangerous power guns that sucked, is that they had an O-ringless bolt, but they were all internal. They were all like up inside of the body, so when it would leak down the barrel, if you would replace like the 1 or 2 bolt O-rings that were on the barrel or that were on the bolt, then you would have to like take apart every single O-ring that was like the internal set O-ring. That was actually too much lube, but whatever. This is the fun part, is trying to get that back through, pushing it through. There we go. And again, no springs, no crazy stuff flying out at you. Get a little bit in here. If you're also leaking off the barrel or down, you know, down your bolt, down your barrel, this O-ring could definitely be 1, 2, check, and that's it. That's how easy it is. And this is a very, very quiet, very easy design. It's a very, very nice design of the bolt. Very easy to get it in and out. Nothing too crazy. And that is it. I've sort of went over what I don't like about it, so that way you guys have an idea of, you know, things I like and don't like. So let's take it out and do the conclusion of what I think about it. Alright guys, so in conclusion, the Luxe Ice is probably one of my more favorite high-end guns. This is probably top 3 for me, maybe top 2. This is definitely one of my more favorite guns that I've been shooting, just because of the overall feel of the, just the feel and the design of the gun. It fits super, super nice in the hand. It's very low profile and it's really light. I can put a 77 cubic inch take on here and a rotor, and the rotors are a little bit heavier than like the Spires and some of the other loaders that are out there, and it feels just as fine. I can control the marker really easy. It's really nice to snap out. I like the profile of where the hopper sits. I just overall really like how this gun is designed. It's very, very nice. It's very, very comfortable. It shoots phenomenal. It shoots really, really smooth. It shoots ball on ball, really consistent over the chronograph, which is a big plus. They did a great job designing this bolt, so I can't really complain. I haven't had any issues with maintaining this. I haven't had any issues with it going down on the field. I also bought this gun secondhand, so this has also been used before me, and it had a bunch of paint shot through it then, and I haven't had any issues at all. It's just nice, well broken in, doesn't really break paint too often. It just shoots really, really nice. I'm really happy with how this actually turned out versus the other the previous Luxes. The previous Luxes, I said I was just never gonna own. They broke down too easy. The bolts were, I mean, they weren't like hard to maintain, but there was just like 1,001 O-rings that you always had to lube like every 1,000 shots, which is ridiculous. It was completely, it was probably one of the worst efficient guns, one of the least efficient guns, I should say, in terms of high-end guns. You could get like 7 pods on a 4,000 fill, which is really not a lot. So I wasn't really happy with those, but they really changed it around on this, and that's why I own this. I'm probably really not going to sell this gun just because I really enjoy it. I just think that it fits really well in my hand. It fits me personally, and this gun, the cool thing is that I can play in the snake with this, and I can be a back player. I can run and gun, I can be in the snake. I can do anything. It's not too big, it's not too small. When I dive into the snake, it's really well balanced when I dive in. I don't have to worry about the barrel doing a dive on me or the back going up. You know, I don't have to worry about that. I can control it in my hand, nice and easy. The grip frame is easy to get a control of. It's not too fat, it's not too skinny. It's overall a very, very easy gun to hold and control. So when you're coming up off the box, when you're running and gunning, it's very, very easy. It doesn't really like float around on you. It doesn't have a ton of barrel rise and a ton of kick, so when you're running and gunning, you're not going to have to worry about adjusting for that. A lot of guns you don't really have to worry about that anymore, but just in general, I just really can't complain. I think it's a solid marker for sure. This is definitely, as you guys can see, I've been shooting this a lot more now that I haven't bought a few other I had like other markers that I had to shoot so I could review them, because, you know, when I review stuff, I actually shoot it so I know what I'm talking about, unlike some other people. So let's wrap this video up. Thanks for watching, guys. Brazzers.